welcome to Happy Life Results Book Group. We're in number 8, section number 8. Where are you? And in the guide number 8, we talk about environment. So, where are you? It's time to turn the laser focus and the critical view lens on your environment, dear hero. Using your primary directions as a reference, evaluate your location, your resources, social circles, work and living space, etc., etc.
Okay, do this. Number 1, eliminate as many distractions from your environment as possible. You don't have to eliminate people from your social circles, if you have good reason not to, because you will become immune to their negativity. However, be intentional about how you spend your time.
Determine what additions to your environment. Number 2, determine what additions to your environment would be the most supportive of your directions. Use a one-day power focus to make as many changes as possible.
Okay, so the last concept, you took this evaluation and everything to your engine, meaning your physical health. So is this just an extension of that?
No, this is everything in your environment. So your bed, your office, your kitchen, your car, your clothes, everything that you come in contact on a daily basis. How are those things like serving you, and can you optimize them? Optimizing your environment is a really great direction for up mastery, because you can see, am I taking my up power? Am I bringing the fun instead of especially like cleaning and dejunking and organizing and things. Sometimes people approach from a less optimal state, and so those kinds of things are important. But then also the people you're with and the way you spend your time, and look at different things that could just eat your time up that you don't even realize, and that you aren't different at the end of it. Like you haven't changed something that would affect you positively.
So I have a question. So in the traditional method, this changing of the environment would be because it's going to make you feel better or make you right? So how is this different?
Yeah, so most self-help books would say the environment either plays a large part or is the cause of your internal state. So they would even say like a cluttered space or being with people who are negative. Those things need to change in order for you to change. So it's kind of we're looking at the causation and saying the things don't make you feel the way that you feel. You feel the way that you feel, and you bring that to the environment. So technically you wouldn't have to change the environment at all.
Okay.
You could bring an optimal internal state to every environment. I remember one time I was in an area of town that was not so savory, and there was graffiti everywhere and it smelled terrible. But I remember thinking how beautiful the artwork was. Like, you don't have to have something amazing in order to feel good, because you realize that the link there is weaker and weaker until it's not there anymore. You bring your feelings to the environment. And so someone could say, well, you can't be happy if you're in that area of town with all the smells and the graffiti. Like, you can't. That's not a place to be happy. But you can, and even if you were living there, if that was your life, you could be up. And what's crazy is when you do bring up your up power to changing your environment, you do amazing, miraculous things, and you embrace futures that you wouldn't have been able to even imagine before.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, because before, if you felt like the environment was necessary, and changing the environment is kind of an unknown, if that's no longer the case, if you feel like you have the joystick, you can, and you have the ability, especially like with your engine, when you're choosing your eating styles and choosing all of those things without having them make you feel a certain way. And then you say, all right, if I can do that, and then you just look at your environment and say, what is the optimal environment? And you use that ability to change and you apply it to your environment. So now you've changed inside and you changed the outside. So they're all in sync. Everything's in alignment, internally, externally. It's all in alignment. how far can you go?
Yes.
What's possible now?
It's amazing.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yes. So share with us your journeys. If anyone did anything different with their environment, we'd love to hear.
And this is an area where there is so much potential for variety, so much potential. So this is an area where you could share your tips and tricks about how you change the environment. And this is an area where you can pull from a lot of the traditional methods, because even though they're based on the assumption that that will cause you to feel one way or another, they have a lot of great tips and tricks for the environment.
Yeah.
So this is an area where we borrow from, we look for any advice on the environment, because even if it doesn't make you feel that way, if it's a great tip,
like for example, we have a lot of exercise equipment just laying around our house. Like we have massage tools, and we have yoga mats, and we have balls and
stretchy bands.
Yes, they're just everywhere in our house, and even roller tubes and things. So yes, when you're up, you could go to the closet and get out your roller tube and roll out. But if it's just available, you
yeah, we'll be in the middle of a conversation and someone grabs, you know,
the muscle hook
or something. Like you're working on
Here,
something.
I want to show them.
Okay.
Here is.
We're not a sponsor for muscle hook, but yeah. So you're in the conversation and you want to work out some sore muscles or something like that, and there are ways you can optimize or there are ways you can change your environment. So one of the areas when we evaluated health is, when we lived in Thailand, we could just go to get like an $8 Thai massage. And so then you maintain your muscle well-being on a regular basis. Well, they're not $8, $10 here.
Yeah.
And so we could just say, all right.
Plus it's COVID, so.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So I was going to say, you could just say, well, that's still worth it. But right now we can't go out.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go out, but there's a risk there too.
Right.
So we figure out a way to do it on our own. I mean, she's a licensed Thai massage therapist. So when she's available, she can provide that for the family. But we can also do some self-maintenance. These are just examples,
you're
right?
just using examples from what you brought up and how the traditional system would say, you know, make your environment conducive to optimal health. And we're saying you can have optimal health and you can bring an optimal state to your health, and then you can schedule time for everything. But I'm just giving examples.
Yeah, I want to bring one more example,
Okay.
if you don't mind. So one of the programs that Stacy went through was a training on the David Allen's Getting Things Done. And it was all about kind of managing the things in your environment, right? So, and it could have said, and here's another example was the one about simplifying the stuff in your life. So those are Katie.
Marie Kondo.
Yes. Those are the connection to how it will or won't
The KonMari method.
make you feel. That part aside, the advice that they give on how to manage the stuff in your environment is super helpful.
Yes.
And you adopted many of the things from there, and they're super helpful.
Yeah.
So if you don't have to buy into this will now again make me feel a certain way, right?
Yes.
Now you just use the tips for adjusting your environment and keep the other concept for keeping the unconditional peak state.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. See you guys tomorrow.
Okay, see ya.